does it?
How do you mean?
I travel a lot. I just came back from Australia, okay?
Well, my brother lives there.
The only curvature of the earth is a slight curvature.
Right.
You have to make an inference that it's fully round.
But if you're travelling east and you keep going and you come back to where you were, that's round.
That is round, I agree. But you're making an inference based upon your direction. No, you haven't. You physically haven't gone around the world physically in a way that you've seen the whole roundness of the world. I'll give you an example. If someone never travelled, what evidence would they have?
They could look at photographs.
Okay, but photographs is testimony, it's not verifiable. It's testimony. You have to believe someone else's testimony.
Like the Greeks and the Egyptians.
Don't get me wrong, I believe the world is round, but I'm trying to show to you, your own claim can't be verified. Do you know the maths? Give me the equation.
I can't give you a maths.
So where's your verifiable
that
proof?
That doesn't mean that there isn't the maths in
I
the first place.
agree.
Right.
But you said...
But I've been physically around the earth.
Okay.
I could learn what the maths is and then teach it to children.
I agree, but let me make my point. Yeah. You made an assertion that the roundness of the earth is verifiable. And for someone who hasn't travelled around the earth like many of us...
They can be taught.
Yeah, but taught is testimonial, it's not empirical. I learned the world is round because my teacher told me and I saw pictures. That's not empirical.
They've got verifiable evidence.
They have, not you. You have testimonial.
Then you don't teach them anything.
That's my point. So the assertion that everything has to be empirically founded is a false assertion. You're teaching children.
Gotcha.
No, it can be verified.
It can be. Well, I have to say, you know, I believe in God because it can be verified. I believe Islam is true because it can be verified. And I'm not dealing with potentialities. I want to know your argument now. And I'm going to give you my argument now.
But you accept that the earth being round can be verified?
Yes, of course it can.
Right. So if you can verify it, you can teach the children that it's true.
No, but sir, the very fact that I know
please answer my question.
No, but I want to answer it properly.
You don't answer the questions. Is everything all right? Is everyone happy?
The very fact that I know that the world can be verified as round is not because of the verification itself, it's because someone has testified that it can be verified also because they claimed to have verified it.
But can you verify it?
I don't know.
Can I ask you a question?
You're saying that you cannot verify it?
I don't know the math. All I know is testimony.
Excuse me.
Told me
Can I ask you a question? You said earlier that he can't verify the existence of God.
Yes.
But can you verify that he doesn't exist?
Which
Because
one?
if not, you're in the same boat.
No, which one?
God doesn't exist.
Can you verify
which one?
that God does not exist?
Which one?
Any.
Yes, I can prove that Vulcan doesn't live in mountains, doesn't exist in mountains. I can prove that Poseidon doesn't live in the oceans, it doesn't exist there.
Really? You've
Have you
every
travelled all the
single
oceans?
ocean and every single mountain.
So
You've done
you're believing in
scientific
the God of
research.
gaps. We now know.
You've done scientific research.
But that's the science of the
We now
gap.
know.
The door swings both ways, my
Why
friend.
mountains blow up.
What it comes
Sir,
down to is he believes there's a God. You believe there isn't. It's
No,
belief.
I can be
There is no
confident.
scientific
I can be
evidence for
confident
either
because
side.
of the fallacies within the concept of God that it's not.
Okay, well let's entertain
That's
that.
confident.
But you're
Richard,
That's
making
not faith.
assumptions
No, that's
based
not
on
faith.
limited evidence.
You are
Richard.
mixing up definitions.
Richard,
Yes, you are.
I think he's made a point.
No.
Your science of the gap.
I can be confident
Sir,
about
Richard.
something and he can have faith in it.
Richard,
There is a difference.
let me take my confidence in something. I'm confident that your God of the gaps is also the science of the gaps. The door swings both ways. If you claim we don't know if God did it, but the other hand is we don't know, but science will find out. That's science of the gaps too. So you can't have your cake and eat it. But let me give you verifiable evidence on why I think the divine
right,
exists.
okay.
So my point is the universe began. If it began,
Well, it didn't necessarily.
oh, you don't think it began?
I'm saying it might not have done. It might have always
Okay,
existed.
so what are you confident
Therefore, you
in?
can't.
What's your confidence?
About.
The universe. Is it eternal or finite?
I personally am confident that it is infinite. That's my. I wouldn't say it's true.
Okay, so,
That's what I
so
think.
do you have evidence for your assertion?
No.
So it's faith.
Yes. That is, yes.
So the
And
whole of...
I freely admit that. I'm saying I have no idea, but looking at how things work in the universe, the cyclical nature of the universe, that's what I think it's always been and it always will be.
Okay.
In one form or another.
Let me,
That's
let me,
purely
let me,
faith.
good. Well,
I'm
at
not
least
saying
you're
it's
an
true.
atheist having faith.
Yeah.
Now let me show to you why I believe we have good evidence, reasonable evidence,
Verifiable evidence.
that the universe began. First and foremost, we have...
As it is now, yes.
Yes, that's exactly. It began and it was finite. The main piece of evidence, what I call a deductive evidence, which means the conclusion necessarily follows from its assertions or premises, okay? Considering that it's sound and valid. We can't have an infinite history of past events because the infinite as a concept, although it exists mathematically with axioms and conventions, the infinite exists in calculus and mathematics and with the axioms and conventions. It can't be exported into the real quantifiable world in a quantifiable sense with discrete parts. So the infinite we can't do that with the infinite. For example, what if I had an infinite number of Richards in Hyde Park and I physically took 5 Richards away, how many Richards do I have left? Infinite, or some people say infinity minus 5. But practically there should be less than the original set.
That's our problem with the concept of infinity. We can't get our head round it.
No, we can. But we understand in what reality. So in a qualitative sense, infinity makes sense. It's got access to conventions, it makes sense in the mathematical world. But in the real sense, in an empirical sense, you can't have an infinite. So therefore, you can't have an infinite past. Therefore, the universe is finite. So that's a deductive piece of evidence.
You're assuming that we are not able to conceive infinity. Therefore, you don't mind it.
No,
Therefore,
we
you
can
reject it.
conceive infinity. We're talking about its export as an ontological idea,
Right.
as an export. It
But
only exists.
that's where the problem is.
No, but it's nothing to do with the. It's nothing
Why
to
can't
do.
it always exist?
It's nothing to do with the conception.
Why not?
Well, this is the key point here. If we can show that infinite doesn't make sense in the real world, that's why Aristotle said the infinite is always this potential never actualized. For example,
That's our limitation.
but look at the distance between
I'm
myself and
looking
yourself.
beyond what we are.
No, you said you were based on faith. I was giving an assertion based on some kind of conceptual
I'm
evidence.
just saying it's beyond what we understand.
But what would the wise man
What's
do?
wrong with it?
Would the wise man take evidence, okay, based on some kind of verifiable position or concept, or would he just rely on faith? I believe the world is infinite because I just believe it's infinite.
But I don't. It's not that I just believe it's
Sure.
infinite. I look at how nature works. I look at